Hi. All right. I think we have everything set up. I'm just like fixing some stuff real quick. This is gonna be an overview of my entire, basically how I started YouTube from zero to where I am at now, guys. Um, and so you guys will see everything. So it should be interesting. Um, that PC case you guys are looking at is my oldest computer that I currently own, other than our old computer that we used to have back in the early 2000s. And yeah, the specs that Ashley had inside it was, hey Robert, welcome to the stream. The specs that I had inside it was an i5. I even have the CPU still, Ashley. I do. I mean, if she can find it and like show you guys some of the old stuff. Ooh, 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 ooh. So I won't be able to see chat that well, but I'll try to as much as possible. And yeah, this was my first computer, and like, does it have the back stuff that unscrews? It's like unloaded. It's like so old, all dusty. I haven't touched this computer in since like 2018, where I did my first build. Even has its own dedicated Ethernet card into it. It was an Intel card, and like, let's see if I can find it. Let's see, I think I should still have it. Yeah, so I do. Holy shit. I still own it. This was my first ever CPU that I owned. An i5. Oh, can you focus, please? An i5 8400. I mean 6400. That's what fits in there, and like that was the first computer build I did in it. Actually, it was pre-built. And then I was like, this isn't enough. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It came along with my, you know, GPU, my first GPU, which I still own, by the way. I still own the first GPU also. Um, I also have noise cancellation on right now. I do. And so this was the first GPU that I ever owned. And I collect the stuff not because, it's old, but because it's memories that I hold on to. And this was the first GPU I had. Now, this was a GTX 1060 3GB version, not even the 6GB. So this computer cost me like, I think it's like $800 for this. And this was like able to run, this was manufactured date in 2016, 9/16. I even have this sticker for it that went with it and never took anything apart. And so it still works. Everything still works flawlessly. There's nothing in here that actually doesn't function. The motherboard works, CMOS battery works, Ethernet cable works, the Ethernet card works. But yeah, that was like my first rig that I did built in it, and it had 1 TB of hard drive and like 512 gigabytes of NVMe, which was basically an SSD. It wasn't even NVMe speed, because NVMe cards back then that were truly NVMe's, not SSDs, they were expensive. So 1 TB NVMe back then, like in like early 2000 and between 2014 to 16, you would easily pay like, I don't know, per terabyte, eh, probably close to like $100. No, $200 per terabyte was back then, and like it was very, very expensive. Um, hey Ayola, welcome to the stream. I have to come back to my other room because I have to see the chat and everything. But that was my first like computer build in the Acer that was pre-built for me that I got. And it wasn't powerful enough for me to do like really anything other than to like start my, yeah, basically running at lowest graphic settings. I couldn't even do like 1080p like streaming or gaming. And hey, Electric the Fox. And I was like really upset because I had this in I started my YouTube channel in like July 26th, 2017. It was my first channel ever. And and this was my first computer that did. And my first stream was an idle game that I played. And I talked about the specs and my gear and how excited I was about future stuff that I was going to be doing with tech and all this stuff. He's saying there's stuff I don't understand. It's okay, I'll describe the RAM speed specs. And I was just super excited because when I had enough confidence to like do like more complicated stuff and actually do an actual computer build, I decided to actually upgrade my CPU to an i5 7600K. It was my first K series processor, and like if I can like let me just like move this stuff over. And like my first computer case, and I still own it, and this case is still a beast. Was the Corsair Striker. This was the Corsair Striker, okay? This was what 2017 and like I think it was like $170 for this case, which by the way, it was decently cheap. But it came with a whole bunch of storage bays. It came with a cool thing where you can actually rotate the fans and actually like have the fans blow inside the hard drives. Unnecessary. It came with pre-built fans. It came with actually good grommet management and all that stuff. It was so exciting. And that was my Corsair Striker PC case. My motherboard was actually an Asus ROG Strix Z270. Okay? That was my first motherboard. I don't even know if I have the case. I think the case is upstairs for it. But that was my first motherboard. I had, at that time, upgraded to 32 gigabytes of RAM. I had GTX 1070 overclocked edition. This was my freaking like, oh my god. This was my GPU I had. Very, very nice. And even to this day, this card is very capable of doing like solid 1080p max settings. It can't do 1440p nowadays for a high-end game, but you know, if you put this card up to like a modern game nowadays, you can still play solid 1080p, 60 FPS. Oh, there's my face. Oh my god, what am I doing? Like solid 1080p gaming, and there's nothing wrong with this card. It was the king of the holy grails for like many years. You'd obviously have to upgrade over time, but I had this card for until like 2021 when I decided to go with my new build, which was a Ryzen build, and this was my motherboard. And I still have the build. I still use this build to this day. Actually, it was just 2022, not 2021. It was 2022 I decided to do this build. And I was really excited because the new Ryzen CPU just came out last year. And I upgraded it to a year later to a 3080. Now, in 2023, what had happened, if you guys don't remember, GPU prices were outlandishly expensive. I mean, we're talking about, I paid for this GPU in 2023, I think I paid like $2,000 for this GPU. If you guys think GPU prices are expensive nowadays, this GPU cost me $2,000. And it was like outlandish for what, you know, what I had purchased. I still have the GPUs out here and all that, so. And I don't got, wait, what were we talking about? Wait, hold up. He's saying, hello, my dad won't leave me alone. He's not, oh no. Oh no, Electric the Fog, just focus on like my stream, you know, help focus on the floofy stuff. And so, yeah, this GPU, which I'll show you guys, it was the biggest GPU, and it's still the biggest GPU I own to this day. It is my only GPU that has like all these cool features, and like it's massive. Just freaking massive. And it still works. There is zero flaws with the GPU. It's never ever overheated. But at the time, I paid like freaking like. Oh, did I? Is there? Oh, there is. There's a scuff mark on here. I paid this GPU at like $2,000 when I first got it. Too expensive. It has an OLED. It has a screen on side. You can put whatever you want to it with it, and that's what I did. I put my stuff images on it, and oh no, my other build was an Intel. It was an Intel build. My sorry. My second build was not an AMD. My second build was an Intel with an i5 A600K. And then I built 2 years ago, so this is the one 2 years ago, the Aces Row Crosshair Extreme, and that was it. I gave my Intel build to my friend who lives upstairs, and so she has it, part of it. She has the i5 7600K CPU in it, actually, so, and yeah. My second build was actually in this case, a Cooler Master C700? I think it was the C700. And it was a cool case. I just didn't necessarily like building in it. It had a removable like tray so you can actually do tests outside of it. That was cool, I guess, but it wasn't anything crazy. It cost me like $300 for this case. I paid like $300 for it. But it had a whole bunch of ports. It has a whole bunch of ports on it, actually, and it's actually was my first luxurious case. Yes, that's an owl. My first luxurious case I ever owned. And so yeah, had a whole bunch of ports, RGB, all sides, really really cool. I took it apart because I was bored. And later on, I decided to do another build in the Fantex, in the a more complex Be Quiet, the Be Quiet case, which I did not like. It was a Be Quiet 900 something, 900 Pro. I did not like the case. I hate it. It was the worst build I have ever done. Be Quiet is made by a German company, and they're cool. Like, if you're into enthusiast case building and like, you know, does this stream still have furry run? Yes, it does. I'm getting to that over time. Like, hey, Chocolate Mike, welcome to the stream, by the way. And, you know, at that time, I didn't like the case, so I decided to buy the Corsair D1000D. And this is my most modern build I have to this day. It has a Ryzen 9 5950X computer CPU. It's got 120 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 3090, which was an upgrade for $700. And the entire PC build also has 30 terabytes of hard drives and 6 terabytes of NVMe. That's my current setup. I'm going to start showing you guys a little bit more of like my random stuff that I got over time and why some of the stuff failed and did not continue on to my daily routine build stuff. I'm just going to put some of this up quick as we can do it, because yeah. That goes back there. Please just, you stay there. Ooh, this goes back in here. And I have a whole bunch of fans. Noctuas, Be Quiet, a whole bunch of stuff. So my first microphone, which I actually have over... Ooh, my leg. Which I actually have over here, was my first choice I ever decided to go with. And it's not bad. Okay, it's bad. I lied. I dissed the microphone. It was a Samsung G-Track Pro. The issue was I couldn't do any mounting with it because it had a proprietary mounting system for it. And it was USB Type B, the big connector. There's several USB Type B connectors actually. This is the big one. And it was okay for that time. But I shortly decided to upgrade to an Antline wireless microphone that actually blew up and like completely blew up quite literally. And then the next microphone I added to my arsenal was the Shure. This was a $200 microphone I paid for at that time. It was on sale for $150, and it was supposed to come with a USB Type C, but it came with a USB Type B, and I was pissed. Later on, I decided to buy the more luxurious microphone, and this still works, by the way. All this stuff still works, no issues. I later decided to spend a pretty penny on this, okay? Because at that time I had my XLR setup with all that stuff, and so this is what I spent my money on. Was on this. My audio setup was actually unique at that time because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go with, how I wanted to do my live streams, because I wanted to obviously improve over time. But I looked at online reviews on like, oof, I don't like that. I looked at online reviews on like different stream media stuff, and I went with AverMedia. Okay, I went with AverMedia, and at this time I could do XLR input, which I had done because this had an XLR input, and it worked. It worked for like 2 years, like a year and a half actually, and then it broke on me. Okay, it just broke. Now it still functions, but I can't it smokes inside. It just smokes inside, so it still works. I can use it as a screen and all that, but I don't want it to blow up on me. So yeah, just real quickly, and then I went with Stream Deck, Elgato's, everything with Elgato. And at that time, before I did that, I decided to do capture card through my AverMedia Duo, and this would allow me to do my camera because I had the actual camera kit set up, which broke on me too, so I had to ditch this. I had 2 different capture cards actually. I had that one, and I have a portable one which I can still use. Not that I ever used it before in a while, but AverMedia again. And AverMedia was a pretty good brand for a lot of basic stuff. This I got because I was gonna play with a friend. I regret spending $160, and it was expensive. Razer Tardius for like gaming and stuff. I can always use for macro keys, but I don't have any real use for it now. And so that's where we went along with that. This, I wanted to actually see how this worked with my NVMe's to speed them up. I never used it because I couldn't figure out how to get my, was it like the split bifurcation to work on this? So this would actually be half the speed of my NVMe, my PCIe speed. So certain stuff I got and didn't work, and just or it died. And I learned from over time and experience on what I later wanted to get. Oh, hi Sonnet. Anyone here ride a camera? Never rode a camera before. Streaming at 6 p.m. Yeah, I started early a bit actually. I missed this. Hey, Death of Fallen Angel. Which chats have I missed? Hard to focus. Who else? Raymond, welcome to the stream. I have to come back to my main computer because I didn't really think of how I wanted to set this up. Goodbye. Yeah, I have to a long time. What are we talking about? Rank cameras is fun. Huh. Never rode camera before. Oh, you stream at 6. Okay, cool, Sonic. Cool. Thank you. Um, and so I kind of like played on where I wanted to upgrade my setup. And so we're moving on to this. This my mom got for free, and I just kept this. This is Sony. It was like 300 something. I forget the series, but I don't know. I've used this like once, and I don't know. I have a nice one. This is a power bank that I have as a backup. It has like plugins and it works. It's just really terrible. I paid like $80 for this. Would not recommend this brand. It doesn't even push 4200 milliamps. It doesn't do that. It dies really quickly. It's maybe like 30,000 if at that. This is my overkill charger. 100 watts. So this is nice. This is what I use daily actually to charge myself. This laptop is my pro grade. It's like I got this for like $200. But the cool thing about this laptop is it's like pro grade. It has certain security features that allow you to protect it more. It's got like a UEFI BIOS reset, dual reset BIOS systems. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM. It has a Quadro in it. A Quadro, was it? I forget the Quadro, but it's like a Quadro 4000. That's it. Which has 8 gigabytes of VRAM in it, which is still, by the way, this laptop is just as powerful. The GPU inside here is just as powerful as my near on par desktop GTX 1070. So I keep this because I paid $200 for it, and I can still do 1440p and 4K editing on this. It has a Intel V7 CPU in there, which is, again, for protecting and more sophisticated stuff. But that laptop back then cost like $2,000, and I paid like $200 for it. These are all my different mounts I have. I've used all of these. And some of these failed, some of these didn't, so I keep some of these in case I want to use them for other backup mounts. My different camera mount systems and different locations I use these for mounts. So let me go back to the chat real quick. No looking at my beans. Hello, Harry. Hi, welcome to the stream. Does all that increase your electric bill over time? I don't use all of it. I actually use very little of it. And Atari Video Music C240, when you record and do streams, it really helps. I have a way more complex streaming setup nowadays, Chocolate Mike, to the point where my actual like space that you guys will see shortly is, I kid you not, is about, it's like close to 12K. What I use to do my daily streams is about $12,000. So hi ONG. I'm showing you guys the history of what I used to do for my content and my old channel, and showing you guys the history of some of the stuff, because while you may not care about it, a lot of this history is important and got me to where I am today and why I chose certain things. So that's what I'm doing. Bandcamp has already started. Oh, nice. So moving on to like different things. I later got different again, mic like stands. Like this was my first. This was my first high-end stand because I used to do cooking videos, and so this would help me for like, again, this was extreme. I paid $200 for this to do my phone like cooking videos. That was my second channel I had made. after I quit my first channel. And then I got a lighter one because that was too heavy. This was more mobile because I wanted to go different places with this, which I did a few streams with. This is a baby version of this. It gets pretty much almost as tall as this, not quite, you know. I think this gets like 10 feet up in the air or some crazy. That's 9 feet, sorry. And this gets up like 6 feet, so not as much, but certainly lighter. So, and that was because I wanted to do, that was because I wanted to do cooking videos. These were my first lights that I got for like lighting up my green screen, which I don't need to do now because I have flawless lighting in my setup. That's a whole story. This was my first USB type like high-end microphone, the Beacon. And the thing that I made a video on this, I did not like this microphone for one big reason. You have to connect it to software. If the software is not connected, it does not work. And that's why I actually don't use this, even though I paid like $300 for this. Really, 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 really nice microphone. It's my second most high-end microphone I own. On top of that, so yeah, I use a different microphone that's way more complicated. I also own another microphone that's the Sony, the Sennheiser one, that's also $318 I paid for. And that's that. This was my first high-end and the only one in existence to this day is an Elgato 4K 60 FPS webcam. It's the only one in the world in existence that's for like $300. And it does 4K 60 FPS. It has a 1-inch sensor. It's one of the biggest sensors out there still to this day. And yeah, I haven't used it because it's big, bulky, and it has a freaking fan inside it. So, and it needs a specific cable to run it. It's a USB 3.2 cable you need to run it. No, 3.1, sorry. If it's not a 3.1, 3.0 I mean, it will not run. So, very, very like limited in cables to run it. This was my second ever laptop I owned. We paid $1,800 for this at the time because things back then were just very, very, very expensive, and to the point where I needed a laptop for like, I mean, I'm also starting to feel stress and anxiety. Bandcamp, that's okay, mate. Sorry you're feeling stress and anxiety, son, by the way. I'm just, what? Okay, random. Have you seen my post on your... I have, yes, I have Death of a Fallen Angel, I have. I've seen them. I've seen 2 of your posts so far. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that's on it. But that laptop back then cost me $1,800, and this was back in 2023 when I was doing a lot of mobile streams because my sister had lived in an apartment and I needed to be mobile on the spot, and I can do editing, and this has an RTX 3060. It has an i7 GPU, i7 CPU. I forget, it's like i7, I forget the model number. Speaking of CPUs, freaking Intel has done it again with renaming the Intel Core Ultra Series 2. I don't know why they decided to do Series 2 and they changed it, made it more complex. I don't know what Intel is doing with the naming scheme, but they're getting worse and worse. They need to go back to Core i7, you know, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you know, stuff like that. Stop doing the whole Core Ultra BS because that is very, very pissing anti-consumer and making it confusing. The only people that are going to know about this is nerds like me. Be like, what is Core Ultra i7 200 series? Well, that's your high end. The 100 series is the low end, and the 1 stands for when it was manufactured, and the 0 is coming after all the like power indicators and all. Yo, people are gonna memorize that shit. So Intel and AMD have gotten to the point where it's very confusing. Don't know why. Could care less. But Yeah, this was my first laptop, and it still works flawlessly. I actually upgraded this to 32 gigabytes of VRAM and like 2 terabytes of NVMe in here now instead of 1. So, very, very nice. And this is what I'll be actually taking with me on the go for like when I do editing and do live streams, because it can do 1440p easily without issues. I completely forget as to like how. Oh no, I did a swap with a friend, and I gave them my old motherboard. This was my old motherboard, and I did a swap. So this has a this is my case on tap. Like my what was in here? Ryzen 5 3600 CPU. So I have like several CPUs. And it still works. It still works. There's nothing wrong with the motherboard. So, you know, I keep a lot of these stuff. Not because I'll ever use these. Should my computer break, I am definitely not going to be able to be using a lot of these stuff. Because, well, they're too weak for what I need. I do solid 4K 60 FPS videos. None of these CPUs can handle that. None of them. This is my Alliance Tech Tip Ratchet. It's very, very nice. One of my favorites. Paid $80 for it. Very, very nice. And it's the only one I use. So this is a 60-watt charger with the red magic phone, which is over there somewhere. This was my, oh, here you are. My red magic phone. Very, very nice phone, you know. Very, very nice. It did fast charging, so that's why I bought it. It would charge this entire phone in 45 minutes. And so, yeah. This was cool RAM that someone gave to me as a present. I just have other RAM that's really cool. So, what's it? Yeah, G-Skill. This was, funny story about this, was my friend that lives here. Oh, this is my oldest monitor I own. This does, okay, hold up. This was Gateway. No one in existence should know about Gateway if you're, you know. Gateway existed back in like 2000, from like early 1990s to all the way to like 2009 or 10, something like that. This was their high-end gaming monitor. This was a TFT LCD monitor. We don't do TFT anymore, by the way. 1440 by 900 resolution, 720p ready. It is technically 720p. DVI-D with HDCP input, VGA analog, enhanced color perfection, and gateway shield. Now, the cool thing about this monitor is it's durable as fuck. Like, y'all are not gonna break this monitor if you dropped it a little bit. I've actually used this monitor for like testing out issues with regarding to why my computer wasn't connected, because cool fun fact about DVI inputs and VGA inputs was they allowed you to bypass the issues with the digital signals of HDMI and display ports. If those signals didn't work, then you would go back and troubleshoot with DVI and VGA. That's the only reason I kept them. I need to go. I have a visitor that needs attention. To see you next time. Thank you, Death of Fallen Angel. Like he's 41, but got 41 gold. What? I'm so confused. Great in carpool. What? I'm so confused. Never mind. I don't know where my medication is. Maybe you should find some, please. That would be great. Letter to Fox. If you need to take the medication, take it if it helps. So that was like the one monitor, and it's the one monitor that I use and kept for testing, because you're never gonna find a monitors back then that are that sleek that are able to withstand drops. Okay, I've dropped this monitor several times. This also weighs like 20 pounds. but like it has, a whole bunch of stuff back there. It's crazy. And base amount also, and this was a gaming monitor, guys. Gateway made gaming monitors back then. 75 refresh rate was massive back then. They didn't make 120 until like 2011, 2012. They had some early production like early 2010, but not until way later, because gaming wasn't a big thing until YouTube came out, and yeah. This I'm taking with me. This I paid $200 for. It's a touchscreen, Asus, so I can actually have my own like separate miniature module with me that connects it. It's USB Type-C recharging, so it's got to be recharged. Really, really nice. But I'm taking that with me. It goes with me, and I got it because I was being more mobile and all this stuff like that. This is my Oculus Quest 3 headset. I haven't used this in forever, so I can do VR, and yeah. I just haven't touched it in years. I got it, and I forgot about it. The controllers, the controllers. These were some of the cool, different, like, headphones I got. They weren't that expensive. Like, this was, like, $1,200, both of these together. And they're still fully charged. Still fully charged. I just haven't, like, done anything with them. So, this is dead. That didn't last long. Those are my first wireless earbuds, actually, I owned. First. This is my backup keyboard that actually works. It's membrane. It came on, that actually came with my, that was my first gaming keyboard. So that came with the computer that I had, that my first computer in 2017 that I showed you, the Acer one. And then this was my friend's GPU that I was like, I'm pretty sure I already got your GPU, but I'll just buy you another one, and I got her an upgrade for a 4060. This is a 3060 MSI GPU. So I think this had, oh no, 1660. And I got her an upgrade to a, I upgraded her to a 4060. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I already got you GPU. And by the time I had purchased it, I was like, well, there you go. Now I buy you 2 GPUs. That keyboard is a Corsair 100, whatever the series, K100. And the issue with that one was it had issues of malfunctioning. So that's why that was when I retired, but I kept it for like legacy purposes. This is my most recent phone that I had. The back cracked, and then the USB thing doesn't work, so at least does wireless charging, and I can still use it. Camera still functions normal. This was the Samsung Galaxy S21 Note. My second Note phone, because I had Samsung Galaxy Note 9, and it was my favorite. So, yeah, I got a Note 21. The current camera that I'm shooting on, the current phone is the Sony XR, whatever, the high-end $2,000 phone that I'm shooting on. It was like $1,800. It has pro-grade digital, like, physical lens in here. So this is my most recent purchase of my wireless speaker, because I need that for work. So because there were a whole bunch of earbuds issues, and couldn't use that. This is some more power banks I have, and I found my big version of the one. They both have Q charge. U-Green. This is the 2800 milliamp hour one. The 2400, and that's the 1200 one. So, and that's about it for the showcase. One other thing, I do have a pro grade lighting. I don't use it anymore, but this is by Small Rigs, and it's really, really, really nice. I paid $170 for it, and yeah, that's about it for that. This is my green screen that I love, Elgato green screen. Really beautiful lighting and perfect green. I do have another green screen back there, over there. And now we're gonna go into my workstation, which is my $12,000 setup. So you guys get to see everything here. From my computer case, I got a brand new chair. I got a Corsair chair. The chair I wanted to get was by the same company that the desk was produced. And I have two of these desks. They're both stand-up desks, really, really nice. They're both power on, and I can actually control the height and the cables with it. All the cables are managed behind here, so they're really nice to see. You know, super simplistic. Thank you guys for the 5 likes. What went wrong with the keyboard? It was malfunctioning. So the keyboard, what happened with it was one of the keys had like a auto lock function where it auto pressed the one key, and you couldn't use it because I kept on spamming one of the keys like software. So the software of the keyboard was broken. We tried to reinstall the software completely because I was able to do that, but it still kept spamming the one. Like, I couldn't control it. And so I upgraded to a different keyboard. I gave my friend the Corsair K95 keyboard because that was just as good as keyboard as this one, but it had the other one had more. This one had more features. And then I upgraded to my Asus keyboard, and I've had this for over like almost 2 years now. Really, really nice keyboard. I got it because of this thing. You can change it. This is messed up, the wrist pad, but I want to eventually buy me a new one, like next year. What's that under my desk? Just cables. I have a lot more cables than this, by the way. Way, way more cables. Oh, this is my bean. My likey bean. There we go. That's my likey bean. I don't know why I have it there. I guess to showcase them. And then I have my likey over here. This was the add-on that we did for my room, Ashley. And so the lighting is, when I say perfect, I mean perfect. I have 2 lights over here. Turn this off, Ashley, for you guys. I have 1 light over here and 1 light over here. And because of the way they're shining down and hitting the wall, it creates a perfect green screen that I can literally do now perfect from a can. Almost perfectly. Not exactly perfect, but like to the point where it's like, cosplay is crazy. Welcome to the stream. I'm working on the fan art. Oh, nice, nice, nice. That would be exciting to see, Ashley. And this is my new $12,000 setup. The microphone that I have is a $300 DJI wireless microphone. I spent pretty penny on this so I can do perfect audio quality, perfect recording. How do you get grab your first? Because I have this on the stand. Like everything's over on the stand, so this stand is actually pretty sturdy. It's lighter than the other one. It's a little bit more, more maneuverable. And so I can just grab it over here. So without knocking it over, and just easy grab. The inside of this is $5,000+. I'm sure the value of this has gone up a bit more. But that's the specs. 128 gigabytes of RAM. Asus water cooled. I don't like the water cooling, but it is technically 1.5 degrees lower Celsius, so that's an improvement. Asus, the Extreme Maximus motherboard. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's it? I thought I had more fans in here. Oh, I do. 6, 7. I have like 7 fans in there. There you are. 7 fans. 3 of them are RGB. And so, yeah. I have 7 fans. I actually want to get more fans, but I want to upgrade this case to the Corsair 2000D. The big difference between this versus the other one is that one is able to hold 18 fans. This one's able to hold 15. Other than that, there's no difference. I just haven't maxed out the fans on this. And one of these days, I will. One of these days. I just have to spend like, no. The fan setup that I want to get is going to cost me like $500 just on fans alone. $500. Ironically, I just redid my animation setup. Ooh, I added an easel to set up my drawing tablet. Present Bomb, welcome to the stream, by the way. And I added water feature speaker. Water feature speakers. Oh, that's really cool, actually. Aw, thank you so much, cosplay. This is my most expensive audio setup I've ever done in my life. The audio setup is, well, $1,000. Put it simply. This was $700. My Rode that controls my entire audio setup. Actually, I can go ahead and switch it over to my microphone real quick now that I'm here. Actually, no, I'll just keep it to my DJI. I'm not supportive of DJI. You know, my grandmother gave me Velcro, but so now I can give my. Oh, that's so neat! Neat! That would be actually really cool to see. Post that images when you get a chance, actually. And so this cost me $700, but it had all the abilities of actually connecting my phone, it had the abilities to connect different audio devices, everything that you can think of. It's completely overkill. I couldn't get the baby version. I could have. But you know, if I'm going to spend and do a professional setup, why not go the extra route to get every single aspect that I want out of this? There's nothing this thing cannot do. It has a pro grade, like these high-end artists use for music. There's this little thing in here. So, yeah. Very, very, very nice. It's $700 for a lot of reasons. Alright? There's a lot of reasons. Bluetooth connectivity, you connect your audio, Bluetooth microphones, and all that stuff. Volk, welcome to the stream! It's basically speakers with glass cubes on top of them with rainbow light shining up from the bottom and the wire shoots up to the best of the audio. Oh, that's really, really cool how that works. I've seen those. Those are also very expensive. If I'm thinking of the one that you're thinking of. There's several versions of them actually. Sony actually made one of these. They're really, really cool. To the beat, sorry. Last time progress on your Discord. Yes, please do that. I'd love to see it. I was drinking coffee earlier, never finished it. You know, I wanted coffee, and so I have two of these, by the way. That's like $300 in earbuds just alone. Man, I spent so much money on earbuds and headphones. These are $300 headphones. I want to upgrade these to newer ones. These fell apart, so I super glued the inside of them, and now they work. Sennheiser, love Sennheiser. I want to get new ones though. Oh, nice. That's actually not bad. This is another fucking $300 microphone. So this is the Logitech. Not the is it the Logitech? Yeah, this is the Logitech one. And the capsule comes off, all magnetic. It's got cool capsule inside it, and it's different capsule colors. I wouldn't get a different one, but and I finally spent $50 on a Rode cable. You know, it's purple. Overkill cable? Definitely. Was it worth it? Yes, just for the aesthetics, because, you know, I spent so much money on this. It was I need to wipe this off a little bit. I just cleaned this a few weeks ago. Already getting dirty. And yeah. This was my old old first YouTube channel. So, oh, what did I do? Um, and these two monitors, it's like $1,500. This was a compromise in terms of getting like OLED and non-OLED. And for editing, oh, they're so nice. They're so nice. They're not OLED, but they're like almost OLED. This was my first monitor ever that I did for like content creation. And to this day, it's one of my favorites. And apparently it fixed itself because it had like LED burn-ins, but it's now fixed. And this, so yeah. Wee, wee. It's really cool. $500 on fan load. That's insane. You should definitely get more views considering how much. So that's not how it works. My setup is, it's more of a showpiece, but I also like did this to like future proof this. Like my computer, this build alone is able to last me for the next like 6+ years. I will never have to upgrade my CPU, my GPU, or what's inside here for another 6 years. This CPU came out in 2021. 2021! And it's still standing strong. There's never been a single issue. I've never had any, issues with the complete, like, whatever. I have 30 terabytes of a hard drive. And I have 3 of those hard drives non-activated, because should these other hard drives start malfunctioning, what I can do is transfer all those files onto those other hard drives. And those 3 hard drives that are not functioning, I have them like shut off completely, because again, I want redundancy backup. And so they're just in there just doing nothing. And so that's happening with that. And then I have 2 other hard drives that are enabled by default. And like my storage setup is to make sure that I can run my setup for the next at least 5 more years. Do I play Minecraft? Are you serious? Getting like over 1,000 FPS on a 3090 and like 4K. Should totally do it one of these days. No, I don't. God. And then this was the monitor I got recently because I was like, might as well get a 4th monitor. I'm trying to get all 4 of these monitors to work, but that's my next project. And yeah, moving on to the 2 cameras that I currently use. This is a Logitech Brio 4K 30 FPS webcam. This is another camera that I use. And this was a, oh my god, this thing is hot. Instant 360. And so I need to like disconnect it because it's actually very, very, it's like boiling, like very hot to touch. So please check the update. I will check it after the stream because I'm almost done streaming this. But yeah, and then in terms of my audio setup, I have a backup audio, my Wave XLR. All right, my Wave XLR right here. And what this allows me to do is again make it fully portable so I can take it on the go. That's why I got it. Portability, so when I'm going to be going to my vacation tomorrow, I'm going to be taking this with me. I'm also going to be taking this with me, so this allows me to have full-on audio. Technically, I don't even need to take this with me because the audio quality from the DJI microphone is pretty damn on par of what I would get from my... It's not as quite as good as my high-end microphone. Like, we're talking about like pure like noise and audio stuff. My high-end microphone is way, way better. But if I'm too lazy and I'm gonna go on airplane stuff, this is what I'm taking. This was my new upgrade, Stream Deck. And what I did with this was I modified it so I can connect and make it 100% on-the-go portability. I added this attachment which allows me to essentially add different cables, and I can even daisy chain it. So if I want to add more cables, I can daisy chain it now and add like crazy setup. Now keep in mind, every single one of these cables, everything that's connected to it is powered by one device. One device only. Y'all ready? My opinion, Electro, you should make a big floofy tail. Big tails can add a, wait, what? God, this thing is like hot. I need to get me a new one because something's wrong with this. I worry about that, Ashley. Like it is, it might be the mod resolve, but man, these get really hot. The one device that I spent I think $400 on it, but really cool and worth it. And the reason I like it is everything's connected by one like uniform cable. I also have a backup XLR cable. Oh, I do have more. It is, can I get to it? Can I get to it? Oh my god, please. It's back here. Hold up. It's back here. That device controls everything. From my audio, from my keyboard, to like, if I wanted to control my displays with it, my Ethernet, although my Ethernet is 10 gigabytes, so I connect to my computer. That's one device that has $400 and controls everything. So, yeah. You guys can see the back is a mess. I also have like a 20-foot HDMI DisplayPort cable. But that's basically it for like make it huge and fluffy. And that's basically it for like my studio tour. The inside of this room alone is over $12,000. Both of these desks, this desk is like $1,100. This desk was $1,000. I got this on sale for like $1,000 though. So, and this was on sale for $800. All my monitors combined are it's like $2,000 in monitors. Now this monitor was expensive just because it was the first G-Sync monitor I got, and I paid like $400 for it. Nowadays, you can get this monitor for like $280, if that. So yeah, first G-Sync monitor, I liked it, but not really worth it. So anyway, that's literally it for the entire oh my god, I'm trying my best, guys. I'm trying my best to control this. Okay, hold up. I'm gonna do it. Hold up. I got you. That is it for the content. I hope you guys enjoy this live stream in terms of all my tech stuff and all the stuff that I own and the history behind all this. On top of all this, the stuff that I own software-wise is about $2,000. Now, to be fair, my software was on sale, so that's $2,000 in sale. I only paid like $1,400 on top of like $3,000 of free stuff that I got. So now you guys know a bit more about what I do, where I got to, and the history of my tech and my upgrades. And my next upgrade will be when I get enough money to buy a new case and new fans. So stay tuned for that live stream build in like several months from now. Bye, y'all!